Hey everybody, welcome to the macro. I apologize for the recent audio problems on the last two videos. Those should be fixed now. That being said, start with the SPY. You'll see 3/3/4. In order for a 3 to happen, we knew this had to happen first, the 2-2 month. And in order for that to happen, we knew about the RevStrat week. So go back, look at the weekend vid and the Monday night video in April. Then go back and watch the monthly vid we posted before the end of April going into May, and you traded the whole rally to the upside. That's exactly what we're looking for. That being said, with the outside quarters, that's a broadening formation. They go new highs, new lows, reclaim, new highs. So the question is are we going to exit that broadening formation, or are we coming back through it again? And we've got some answers. Qs. 3/3, same exact thing, same 2-2 month. Nonetheless, how are we going to get out of this 3, right? We're closer to expansion to the upside, so we're just going to lean towards a rally. And continuation, Dow Jones, the 2-2 quarter hammer. This would confirm the previous 3s on the quarter by going reversal into all-time highs in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The IWM also has a hammer 2-2 setting up on the quarter, which would confirm the previous quarterly reversals we saw in SPY and Qs. That being said, we'll take a look at some sectors here. XLK, that's a 3/3. Did we know about this? We did. Here's your hammer. And you'll notice we want to time signals that reclaim. This hammer reclaims this. Other side of the range, still good. Right? If you just traded our monthly video, you just beat the market this year, 20%. You go to semis. Same thing, levels of reclaim, new low, hammer, boom, up to the highs they go, giving you the outside quarter 3/3, looking for a 3/2 expansion. We have a lot of talk about the AI sector, which we'll talk about a few leaders in there that we'll keep an eye on with signals setting up. But semis and your tech, definitely something we want to be aware of for continuation with the Qs. If we then go to financials, you'll have the hammer quarter. If we go to the yearly, we remember when we mentioned the big investment for the inside year up financials, this is still up 40%. You're still beating inflation. That's a good thing. This quarterly hammer confirms that. Where the yearly broke, we had no signals, and then here's our signal to try and get that going again. So XLF is going to be similar to your IWM, your Dow Jones. If we go to real estates, hammer as well, although inside year still. So still weak, just be aware of that. If we go to staples, also 3-2 down hammer, closer to the reversal. So next quarter, if we see all of these sectors break 2-2, your financials, your staples, etc., then we'll have a lot of signals going, which will confirm the rally. We'll get another 3 months of expansion. Utilities, outside hammer quarter as well. And in those staples, you're going to have an inside month. In those utilities, at this point, you're just dojis. So they're kind of grinding here, but we'll see if that gets better or worse. If we go to materials, you'll see the hammer quarter there as well. Triangle out, hammer, 3/3. So you have the broadening formation. This 2-2 tells you it's trying to go back up there. New highs to like 97, 95. If we go to industrials, outside bar, mostly from your defense sector, that's a 1-3. Did we talk about this in the monthly vid? Go and look. Go to April, 2-2 month. Go back. Alex, I missed the trade. Well, go back, study, figure out why you missed it. It was a 2-2 reversal. We don't want to miss that. But that's in your industrials. We go to healthcares, inside month. So if anything's going to be weak next month, XLV, you'll see the reclaim on the month here. And then inside month, if they're going to keep puking, inside down below this, 130.98. We also do have, 2-2 week up. So maybe they go inside up, depending on how they open them up here. Discretionary. You'll see discretionary like your Amazons, your Teslas, the 2 down in green quarter. So you got a lot of potential 2-2s. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Biotechs also going to have the hammer quarter, counter what the healthcares are doing. And then XAI, your AI stocks, potential RevStrat, which is a new one we're adding here. If we go to ARK K, 3 on the quarter, and Cathie Woods might start looking really smart here. You'll see the inside year and up, then 2 times inside year and up here above this, 63.85. So next quarter, for above this, 71.65, give or take a few pennies. That's a good thing. If we come back below it, maybe they go 3 again to the downside. But we'll see. That's a lot of your IBM stuff in there. If we go to gold, gold still 2 on the quarter. If you recall from 2 years ago, or inside your signal to tell you to buy gold, it's up 57% still, beating inflation. If we go to the month, it's a little closer to RevStrat month down. So we may see some profit taking show up in gold here. And you'll see it failed to make new highs here by 3 cents. So there's still mother bar to this here. We got a silver. Silver had the inside month up last month and nowhere near reverse than that. You'll see potentially 322 week this week if this inside day kicks in tomorrow in silver. So we'll keep an eye on that. You'll have your levels of reclaim coming back through this broadening formation like here. And with the dollar, you'll see the Dixie here. You're going to see inside month down gets us into triangle expansion. You'll see we close outside of the bottom of the range. Where's that going? You got pivot machine gun of these guys to go take this out. So we're looking for 88.25. This should send the whole market rallying as well as gold and silver and your materials stocks, because a weak dollar means, things get more expensive. And this can also be something where if we go to US oil, this is USO, you'll see some slight lower lows, maybe a 2-2 next quarter. We'll see. On the month, it has a RevStrat shooter. So oil could be bullish, could be bearish, depending on if we take the month down and stay down or we take the quarter up and stay up. But we'll see. With all the tensions in Iran, that's something we'll continue to keep a close eye on. If we go to the gold miners, GDX, you'll see closer to a RevStrat month. And then JNUG, closer to the RevStrat month down. So we'll see how that plays out, right? Just because it's a shooter does not mean it's bearish. We could have some weekly reversals up and they could firm up, but that's what we see here on the month. No quarterly signals, so those things are still strong. That being said, let's find some focus in this market. So let's get it. So we can take a look at a lot of things, right? 2 down in green, inside bar, hammers, shooters, 2 up in red. So we can start with 2 down in green setups. Here they all are on the quarter. What we like to do is filter by ETR. So we go like greater than equal to 5. This will give you a lot of the movers in here. I've got a few that I've already picked out. However, we'll just take a look through the list. So let's get started. And before I forget, we do have a setup in the home builders as well. My apologies. We'll see the 2-2 quarter hammer sitting up there with the 2-2 month to trigger into this pivot machine gun to the upside. So we'll add that to the list. So starting at the top, we see Oklo, which is looking like we have a little bit of data discrepancies here. I'm not sure what the problem is. Just reached out to the devs to see what's going on there. EAT. And EAT, I'm not exactly sure what they do, but you'll have the 2-2 quarter notice. Buy. Stop them out. 2-2 to send it flying again. So EAT, it's going to be measured move. And a measured move is any signal that triggers as a measured move after a big trend. So big trend signal, that's a measured move. VMC, basic materials. So that's an inside quarter. We're seeing some problems here on the data. And this could be just due to lack of, oh my gosh, yeah, we're having some problems here. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Let me talk to the devs quick. I feel really dumb. I just looked at it and this is something, we're still debugging this platform as we go. So I clicked quarter, but it didn't change anything. So what I did is I added the time frame column right here, and this allows us to see which time frame it was, and it was like the 15-minute for some reason. So just the data loaded in, and this filter did not apply because I think I put the filter there before the data showed up. But that being said, let's get back to the video here and get her done. Starting with the highest ATR. Now the 3-2-2 setting up, and now we like to see that. We go to app. You're gonna see app, maybe the 2-2-2 quarter, except nowhere near the month up at this point. On a 2-week chart, you might have a 2-2 reversal, which could cause it. Would trigger as a big measured move of this stuff if they want to. Tesla, RevStrat quarter above last quarter's highs, which we talked about in last night's vid. I know it had the mute problem. We'll see maybe a 2-2-week second week of the month. Tesla, that's definitely something we want to know about. We go to Costco. You'll see Costco. Look at this. Inside our 2-2 reversal, pivot machine gun 222, if we can get above that. Outside month, which gives you the broadening formation. So maybe we get an inside week with the 4th of July, lower trading volumes. It seems like everyone's not working this week for some reason. But we'll see if that sets up here. And I like to keep the really obvious ones on my list, and the less obvious ones we'll find on the scans as things progress. So you see like Lockheed Martin, 2 down in green, right? Nowhere near breaking that, so it's not as interesting. However, we'll see if it breaks. SNPS, this is obvious. The 2-2 pivot machine gun. Yep. ISRG in the healthcares. With healthcare weakness, hammer month to trigger 2-2-2 quarter. Adobe is on that list, although not as obvious, and really, in reality, they're getting replaced by AI, at least from the looks of it. FSLR. In the solars, interestingly enough, it's still firm, and it goes inside week up, setting up inside month to trigger a 2-2 quarter. Maybe an outside year. If you look at FSLR, Rob, before he passed away, sadly, he's calling for all-time highs. So if we're believing Rob here, here's your reclaim on the quarter. 2-2 quarter sends it up into there, and that'd be his last goodbye as far as we're in there. So FSLR. And he called all-time highs like way down in here, like in 2012 and in 2020. So we'll see if we can do it for Rob. Let's go to Adobe. Again, we already went over it. Nothing. Reddit's an interesting one. Look at the long red and green bars. 2-2-2 gives you 48% magnitude. No monthly signals. No weekly signals. Add it to the large magnitude there. Utilities, CEG, 3-2-2. No monthly signals, no weekly signals. It has been, a big mover to the upside, so who's to say they can't do better? 3-2-2 list there, MongoDB. Still inside to all this stuff. Could become 2-2. You can do what you want with that. Let's see. EAT, we already talked about. ALAB. Ooh, ALAB's a cool one. So they go slight 2 up, slight 2 down, lower low. So this is a 3. Then 2-2, it'd be 2 up, 2 down, 2 up, the 2-2-2. Monthly signal is closer to shooter down, so we'll see. But long red and green bars, we like that. Hymns. So you can see the red month, but we have triangle out on the week. So maybe this week, the 2-2 reversal can set you up to go, continuation month to trigger the quarter. So weekly triangle layout, and then above this, 52.12. And I'll set an alert for it. Right at last week's highs. CRM, let's see, it'd be a 2-2-2 or a 2 down, 2 up reversal. They have kind of peaked out in here. Brown formation looks like this. Inside month. So you could be watching that. Back to the upside, you had very slight triangle out on the quarter. It's not as interesting to me. CAT. I really like CAT, and this is one we actually mentioned in the Discord. Let me show you how this works. So we give you the information, then you do what you do with it. So you'll see CAT opens 3-2 week, big broadening formation. So you go look at the week and look for the big broadening formation. Level of reclaim at 308, trading 310. Then you go on here and you're like, okay, where's the level of reclaim at 308? Right there. New lows to this, reclaim the 3-2 week right here. Then you'll see, boom, off to the races. The bigger this is to go back to new highs, the more likely it is to work. So we want to reclaim previous ranges and then go all the way back through them. And you'll see how that plays out. You'll see the 2-2 month in here. We put out in April's monthly vid. Now we're going to have the 2-2 quarter in the industrials. 3 pokes up, pokes down, reclaim, and then 2-2 reversal into all these guys. So I'll have cat in there. If we go to ETHU, which is Ethereum. Ethereum has the 2-9 green quarter, which will tell us just take a look at Bitcoin. 3 on the quarter, so that's a broadening formation inside month to cause that expansion. We'll add that to the list with, the dollar probably going to get cremated here in the last part of 2025. Bitcoin can definitely go flying. So we'll keep that on the radar. AXP in the financials, another 3-2-2 setup. And we have the XLF 2-2 reversal to confirm that. So that's a good thing. In the chips, NXPI. Triangle layout. The 2-2 quarter setting up. And the healthcare's NTRA 2-2-2 as a measured move. WDay, nope. ADI, oh yeah, 3-2-2. No monthly signals, just at the highs. Outside year already, so you got the broadening information. You'll see the new lows, and you'll see the new highs. That covers the list of the 2-9 green with high ATR. If we remove the list or remove the filter here, and see who else gets added to the list. We'll go for the guys we already know about. Shopify, 2-2-2 quarter. NUE in the materials. This one's got big broadening formation. If we look left, you'll see the new lows here. And with the materials sector setting up, this would be simultaneous break in materials. We'll add financials in there. Add the discretionary in there just to make sure we have it. All right. D-Dog. So D-Dog, we mentioned this in our monthly video, and it's just textbook. What are we looking for? Bottom of the broadening information plus a signal. Line it up. Boom, right? Off they go. 2-2 quarter, right? It has been higher to 199, so at minimum, we'd want to see the PMG, maybe all-time highs again. Star next to that. Like trading D-Dog. Marvell. Ooh, 3-2-2 with a star. We'll make sure we mention ADI. I believe ADI is in the chips. In case I'm wrong, I'm just not going to put it there. Upstart in the financials, the 2-2-2, and this one likes to be a mover as well. All right, and then one more that I want to add in here, CMCSA with the Love Island stuff, which I mentioned on last night's vid, but it was muted. Supposedly, I heard this on Dumb Money I was just listening to the other day. They own the Love Island stuff and they're killing it. So maybe this 2-2 quarter in here could blow out some of these shorts in here in CMCSA, and you'll have some news with the earnings that could be positive with the signal. You will have double inside month as well. To domino into the quarter. So that's where signals confirm or negate knowledge that you may have about a company. Right? That's something we do. Airbnb would be a 3-2-2, maybe. GoDaddy. This would be one as a measured move. And you can see just boom, right? Buy it, 2 down, 2 up to buy it again. And you have inside month GoDaddy. So you have domino. We love dominoes, so we'll keep that up. Whirlpool is a 3-2-2. Right at the new lows. If you're interested, I tend to just not trade that one. Teradyne, in the chips. 3-2-2 with a star next to it. If the chips go 3-2, likely to see the rising tide lift all boats. CRISPR, this is one I really like. So you have the 2-2 quarter. We mentioned this after that month had broke, setting up the quarter, and gene editing has been this just gigantic thing that's going on behind the scenes. And they haven't really made a ton of money with it, at least seemingly. It seems like, they're losing money. However, this pivot machine gun could change some things, at least for the stock here. A 32% move minimum just through those guys. So I really like that. Let's put a lot of stars next to it. Wow, Nike's got an interesting one here. They can be able to come back from the dead. See the new low, lower low, the 2-2 quarter setting up. So far, inside day after a gap. So we'll see. Morgan Stanley, the 2-2-2. After our financials rally, still going, up 40%. See from our financials monthly video, up they go with your JP Morgan, which is a 3, and there's tons of 3s. So we'll try our best to get through them all, but I tend to fall asleep as we just repeat ourselves over and over. But that is the strat, just keeps repeating, right? 3-2-2 Delta Airlines setting up on the quarter with an inside month domino. Put that with the 3-2-2s. If we look at the jets, American Airlines would be same. United Airlines would be similar with the 2-2 quarter. Alaska Airlines would be similar. So maybe the airline stocks overall. Split some commas there. Ooh, SMTC 3-2-2 quarter looks pretty fun as well. And a large range to come back through here, 72%. That'd be a good options gainer, right? If that gets going. UAL, not sure what they do. However, 2-2-2 quarter to send them flying. Gosh. Maybe on if it rough strikes the month, could 2-2 the quarter. We'll see that on the scans. DraftKings, not all-time highs yet. We'll see. Higher lows by 1 penny, but we're coming back through the range. You have 3-2-2 DKNG, and you can see it goes up, grind, 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 and then 3-2-2 could send it flying. These are actionable signals, tend to cause things to move. In the materials, you'll have CMC if you're looking for that material simultaneous break. And we'll put that with NUE Tech. Also material simultaneous break. This is with your lead. If we can get lead futures up. They haven't been doing much, but you'll see the hammer. So there's some previous stuff I did, but Tech is a big lead producer. As well as, a lot of other stuff. OS is also going to be in there. And the cool thing is with the scanners, since we're seeing that, if we look at materials, you'll see it's in orange. And the reason that is because we go to the quarter, they were the leader on the downside, so they're highlighted in orange, right? They're the most percent going in one direction. However, with a lot of 2-2s sitting up there, that could change. You could go from 80% down to 80% up, and that changes a lot of things. So we'll see, funny enough, SEE, also setting up. It's been a lot higher. Put that in there. That covers most of those materials here. Got Bitcoin in there on the RevStrat quarter. Misty, the Bitcoin ETF for income. Setting up the month hammer and the quarter. So if you like getting monthly dividends, Misty MSTOI could be a good one with appreciation plus the dividend. That covers most of that, and that was out of 210 names. So we did pretty good there. Only at 26 minutes. Oh God. Try and speed things up here. All right, we got 52 inside quarters, which makes sense. We had a lot of 2s and 2s going 3 this quarter, so it's going to be less. VRTX, you'll see double inside. And you'll have the domino with the inside month. Amgen inside plus the potential 2-2 month. To trigger the quarter, and we already know healthcares are weak. T-Mobile could become RevStrat month inside quarter up. Hershey's inside quarter if you want to. J&J inside quarter 3-1. They're already an outside year. Double inside month, so they're kind of chopping them up, but if you like inside bars, go for it. Not a lot of interest here. Mondelez could be a good inside month in the staples if staples start going. Gosh, I don't get how Rob sat here and did this so long. We got the scanner, which makes it a lot easier to just quickly go through them. See IonQ, that's a good one. Inside month and inside quarter. If you hear any dogs barking, I apologize. But IonQ could have the simultaneous, or the domino, I mean. Verizon is the 131 on the month, which is contraction, expansion for next month. That covers most of the people that we would like to know about on the inside quarters, which is not a lot. We can go look at hammer quarters. And hammer 2 down, there's a ton. LNG in the energies, UNP in the industrials, which you can see the triangle layout. It goes up, it goes down, sets you up to take these equal highs out. Gosh, there's a lot. PNC financials, gosh. UCOM, it literally just, it looks like 2 months ago when we had all the monthly hammers. Like, it just looks like everything's gonna keep going, and that's what that tells us. QCOM in the chips, with the simultaneous 3-2 in the semis potentially. Then we'll have a lot of home builders. So we're gonna have TOL, Lennar, PHM. Not sure if there's any others in there. I know KBH is gonna look similar. No, it is my YouTube channel. I'm allowed to be lazy, right? Well, you know, if you're interested in the whole hammer list, then that's your deal. You can go and check out strategalerts.ai and do that yourself. But I've got more than enough to be watching here. Now, we can look at the 1-3s. A lot of people watch that too. You got 34 names on the list. Top of the list, you'll have KLAC, Coin. So I'll put some of the names at the top of the list. Coin. Uber, which I think Uber, you know, with the Tesla stuff, could turn into 3-3s if Tesla has a big breakthrough there. That'd be bad for Uber. Driverless cars are obviously going to be cheaper than Uber cars, which would make sense. For those that like LMND, the 1-3. TOST, Toast. And is Toast the thing that is like a payment processor thing? Let me look. Yeah, so cloud-based restaurant. This is crazy because I just had a waitress using this earlier today. So seems like, you know, a lot of places that are good use this. So that'd be a good one. 45, 56, 53. And that's about as much fundamental analysis as we ever do. So we'll put our star next to it here. Silver will have the 1-3 as well. The Bitcoin ETF is going to have it, which makes sense because Bitcoin had the 3. AVGO and chips. With your semis, so there it is. So now we also can take a look at things this year that are the most red, just to see who's there. Definitely not X. RH. UNH makes sense. Inside month. REGN makes sense. Look at this. This could be some really big problems still in the healthcare sector. This big PMG plus the 2-2. And you had corrective activity last month, so all we're waiting for is this. Can you make some new highs here? And then come back through the range. So add some alerts, you know, new highs, rejection, that could really send them lower in REGN. Lulu, if you recall, we called for, you know, the end of the white girl stocks, and that's still happening. It's a big outside month. We'll see if that gets worse or not. And Tesla's on there, but I think that's going to change. And oddly enough, yeah, it is inside year, but that sets up your RevStrat quarter. A-Lab's on there. Yeah, so not a lot of crazy downside stuff. Now on the upside, Netflix, Spotify, KLAC. And Netflix, you'll see $2 lower and then boom, $517 higher. The rejection's always stronger than the initial break. That's beautiful. NRG, similar stuff here. MicroStrategy, inside month for next month with the Bitcoiners. It's of note. Oops. These broadening formations, lower lows, boom, 200%. Just crazy stuff. Green gets greener, does it not? Let's see. Carvana for our monthly video, 3.3 into all-time highs, which doesn't give you much, but gives you 7% to work with, and then see what happens. All right, so that kind of covers the gist of what I'm interested in. The last thing we can do is take a look at monthly setups, so like inside bars, and then copy those over and take a look at those based on yearly change. See if there's anything interesting. It's really MicroStrategy at the top, inside month, bright green year. That's about it by dollar change. We'll see if percent change has anything different to tell us. CVS can be an interesting one. You'll see the big yearly triangle out. So equal highs, lower low, reclaim, 312 month descender fly-in. That's really about it as far as I'm interested. And the last thing I want to do is make sure we don't forget NBIS on the 3-2 list. You may look at this and be like, Alex, this is a lot. The reason it's a lot is because we need to pick one and just do that. So to end off this video, here is the quarterly vid. So sectors, you got a lot of potential 2-2s, a lot of 3s up in here. Now, going into this, if you're a 2-2 reversal trader, here's all the potential setups. There's more, right? But these are the ones I'm picking out, some stars next to some interest that I have. That being said, if you're going to shrink this list down, how do you do it? Well, Alex, I just trade 3 2-2s. I'm just going to trade these. There it is. Alex, I only trade things that have your star next to them. Okay, just trade those. Perfect. Alex, I only trade simultaneous breaks. Look for the semiconductor simultaneous break. Look for potentially some healthcare simultaneous break in here, which we'll add in. Alex, I only traded hammers. Perfect. Go in here. You also have a simultaneous break setting up here. Alex, I only trade 3 2s or 3s with broadening formations. Here they all are. That is your quarterly videos. So if you want the full pick all at once, it's going to be kind of zoomed out here. Yeah, we're not going to be able to fit the whole thing, but here it is. We'll scroll down. Here it is here. So have a good night. We'll see you guys Tuesday morning. Adios.